More protests are planned across the country tonight following the death of George Floyd. Putting these protests in appropriate context can be difficult for many people. The U.S. has a complex history, and many history experts say the road forward may be more uncomfortable than many like to imagine. Newswatch 12's Dan Hagan spoke to a local history professor today for some context, and he filed this report.
Chris Norfleet said peace won't change anything.
Because peace led to one of the most peaceful men in America being murdered, Martin Luther King.
Norfleet is the president of People for the Power of Love, a Wausau-based organization looking to combat racial injustice. He's asking people to come to the 400 block in Wausau this Saturday and have 9 minutes of silence for the black community's latest victim of police brutality, but not to stop there.
Come in here and just standing will never get us changed. Neither did peace.
The riots and protests across the United States have drawn comparisons to the late 1960s, particularly after when Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered. UW Stevens Point history professor Lee Willis said changes in laws came from this period of unrest. But even though they were no longer overtly discriminatory, they still had the same result for black Americans.
And there are now more African Americans incarcerated in the United States than were enslaved in 1850.
Professor Willis explained the war on drugs legalized the ability to raid black communities, arrest young black men, and incarcerate them for many years.
And you might say, well, that's because they're the ones committing a crime, and actually that's not true. The majority of drug dealers, pushers, and users are white.
Chris Norfleet said unfair laws toward black Americans are just one reason why he demands more than peace and more than protests around Wausau. He demands infrastructural change and said he needs white people to demand it too. Norfleet said if Americans truly want peace, they will work to make their black brothers and sisters equals, finally, in this country.
We're coming to a time where talking is done. If you want peace, stop talking and get to acting. Stop talking and get to work. Period.
Reporting in Wausau, Dan Hagan, Newswatch 12.